name is Luca Kassab, and welcome to Fresh on Clips. Clipper season right around the corner. NBA starts tomorrow. You'll see this on Wednesday, but I'm recording it on Monday. So, Clippers hat right here, Terrence Mann jersey. I'm excited for this season. Intuit Dome debuts on Wednesday. We're on ESPN. But, sadly, no Kawhi Leonard. He is out indefinitely with a knee injury. He got sent home during Team USA after the first 2 days of practice because he didn't look healthy. So that was my first implication. Okay, maybe his knee isn't a process that'll heal by itself. It's going to need time. And then to start training camp, Ty Lue started with Kawhi Leonard will not be practicing with us. Rather, the guy will be working on his own, getting his knee right and getting back into shape. So to me at least, and I think to a vast majority of the fans, shouldn't be a surprise that Kawhi's out indefinitely and he's not ready to make the debut. Steve Ballmer, props out to you for trying to sell your tickets and keeping it secret, but I don't like it. In my opinion, no Kawhi, no playoffs. For anyone who watched my video yesterday, I predicted the Clippers to be the 11th seed, and a big part of that is the fact that Kawhi Leonard is out to start the season, and I do not have faith that he will be healthy throughout the year. We lost him in 21 during the playoffs with a torn ACL. Didn't have him all of 22. 23, he played in spurts, and then in the playoffs, hurt his knee. We would have upset the Suns that year. And then last year, he tried to play on his knee, but it was messed up. No Kawhi to start the year, and that's really painful to us just because he is a top 10 player when he plays, but he just doesn't play enough. The West is stacked. I said yesterday, 13 teams that can make the playoffs. And if you're missing your best player, it becomes much harder. Pivoting towards our in-season acquisition last year, James Harden came over to form a big three, ironically, with Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and James Harden. Right. But James Harden was a Sixer. You know where Paul George went over the offseason? The Sixers. So we look at that deal. Nico Batum came back for us. So realistically, we traded Marcus Morris, Kenyon Martin Jr., and Paul George for James Harden. We kept Nico Batum basically. Oh, and Rocco traded too. But anyone who watches the channel, anyone who knows me personally, knows I can't stand James Harden's basketball. Can't stand watching him play. He's one of my least favorite players. Can't stand it. But the guy is a regular season winner. He's never missed the playoffs, and he's never had a losing record. No, he was drafted in 2009. It's not like he's only played 2, 3 years on great teams. He's been the centerpiece of teams that have made the playoffs consistently. He's been the best or second best player on every team he's been on. So I do have faith in that aspect, but he's still, in my opinion, too reliant on step back threes, too reliant on dribbling too much, and puts players in bad situations. To give him his credit, though, he came into camp in probably the best shape I've ever seen him in. He came into camp, he looked thinner than last year. Everyone says all the fat suit stuff. I just genuinely think he put on weight, but he came into camp way more lean, and you can tell that he's in better shape because he's looking to push the pace when he plays. He was getting boards, he was getting outlets and pushing it, trying to run the floor because we do have an athletic team. We do have a team that we're going to score many points without Kawhi Leonard. We have to run the floor. Let's talk real quick. That's James Harden. Oh, and his defense looked pretty solid in preseason, actually. The effort was there. But, he hasn't played a game yet. So for me, I'm terrified that once he plays and as his body faces a toll, it's gonna go down. His defense, his hustle, his effort. Oh, and lastly with Harden, the guy doesn't ever have many major injuries, knock on wood. But so I hope and I pray that he stays healthy because him running the ship makes me more confident than Norman Powell having to do so. Clippers hired Jeff Van Gundy this offseason, and honestly, the defensive intensity and the defensive scheme has been so much better. The Clippers book it right here. I'm saying it right now. Top 5 defense with or without Kawhi Leonard. Jeff Van Gundy I hate him as a commentator, but he's a masterful defensive mind. Let's talk about the rotation, though. It's already been announced that without Kawhi, we're starting Uno at the one, Terrence slash Norm 2-3, Derek Jones Jr., our big signing, is at the four, and Zoo at the five. And honestly, it's a little small. Harden's 6'4" 1. I like that. Terrence is a 6 foot. Terrence and Norm, they're solidly sized twos and threes. It's okay. DJJ is not tall enough to be a four, though. It's kind of the same thing we had with Kawhi, where playing Kawhi at the four, we felt undersized. And then Zoo, Zoo's most underrated defensive player in all of basketball. He's going to be the anchor of our defense. The bench unit, though, is where it gets interesting because we did add a lot of depth this offseason. We signed a guy like Kevin Porter Jr., who I think will get surefire minutes. Same thing with Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn was our Westbrook replacement, and I think he's going to fill a void more than Westbrook would have. I think he's going to fit our team better, especially with him coming off a year where he shot 38% from three. Great, better defensive player than Russell Westbrook, and better 3-point shooter than Westbrook. That was our biggest flaw with Russ in the playoffs, was he couldn't hit a shot. He was 4 for 32. You've all seen the graphic. Then we have Nico Batum coming back. That's a big time signing for us. We all, as Clipper fans, know how good Nico Batum is, and he is a glue guy. We needed a guy like Nico last year. Signed Mo Bamba. He's unfortunately hurt to start the year, but we also have Kai Jones on a two-way who I think will get minutes. He looked really athletic in preseason. His defense was there. He was getting blocks. I'm really excited for Kai Jones. Defensively, he's another just anchor on defense. And that's what we've been missing. Plumlee and Zoo last year were horrible defensively. Plumlee the year prior wasn't as bad defensively as last year, but still pretty horrible. And then this is probably the best defensive center we've had since iHeart. Oh, iHeart. We could have had iHeart backing up Zoo still. Then the three spot is really what's interesting to me because we know Ty Lue's going to give it to Amir Coffey, but Jordan Miller has star potential. He's even said, like, in the most respectful way, he wants to prove he's better than a G League player, and I think he's done that. I'm really high on the Miller show, but preseason, that last preseason game, put up 21 points, was efficient. His 3-point shot is good. He's a good defensive player. Just go back and watch his summer league. It's not like he's a ball dominant, it's not a ball dominant, like I need the ball player. He can play off the ball. He's adapting the Nico Batum up high, not even setting his shot, 3-point catch and shoot when he has to. He's looked good. I think he can be so good for us, but he has to be given the opportunity. The one flaw I can say in his game right now is he is a terrible free throw shooter. He looked bad shooting free throws in the preseason, and then in summer league, he had stretches where he missed the vast majority of free throws. In regards to Amir Coffey, on the other hand, we know what we're getting out of Amir. He's an awesome player. He's been here since 19. I love the guy. But I just don't think he's a playable piece in the postseason, and I'd like to bank on the upside of Jordan Miller. I think we have something in Jay Miller, and we won't see it unless he plays. And with Kawhi being out, that makes it no excuse that he doesn't play. He's shown in the summer league he should have been summer league MVP. Didn't get it, got robbed of it. Took the Clippers to a summer league playoff spot. When have we last done that? Blake Griffin. My point. Amir, on the other hand, last regular season, 44% from the field, 37% from three. Pretty good numbers, 6.6 points a game, solid defensive player. In the postseason, he shot 32% from the field, 27% from three. Game 1 was 2 for 7 from the field. Game 5 was 1 for 6 from the field, 0 for 4 from three. I like Amir, I really do. But there's no reason a guy who we've seen play and we know what his limit is, what he's good at versus what he's not good at, should be getting minutes over a guy who I see as a superstar player in the NBA, Jordan Miller. Let's talk about the rest of the team because you guys know Jordan Miller is one of my personal favorites. Terrence Mann's one of my personal favorites, but KPJ, this is a guy who hasn't played since the 2022-23 season. And when he did play that season, it was 19 points a game, 44% from the field, 37% from three, 78% from the line. And he was playing the one for Houston, which is something he won't have to do here, which I'm really excited about. He should be a score first mindset because he doesn't look for the kicks. He's not a true point guard. While has a nice handle, he's a modernized point guard, always looking for his shot. So being able to play him at the two next to Chris Dunn, who is a true point guard, spreads the wealth, moves, plays great defense. That's something that we have that's a luxury. KPJ, preseason 10 points a game, but he looked as a guy who hadn't played in a little while. So I'm curious to see how many minutes Ty Lue's going to give him that first game. Final thought on Norm Powell, because I mentioned Norm in the starting lineup, which is something he hasn't done for us. I'm excited for it. I think he's proven year in and year out. He's a six man of the year candidate. And last year, didn't get enough recognition for it. But he said at the start of preseason that if he wants to start, he has to be better on both sides of the ball. Offensively, we know he can put up 20 a game. We know he's going to shoot 40% from three. Defensively, he's gotten worse every season with us. But during preseason, while it may be a small sample size, his defense looked a lot better. Perimeter defense was better. He wasn't getting blown by as much. He was sliding, not having to recover as much. I'm really excited for this version of Norm Powell. With the Clippers, if they want to win, I said the top five defense. That's something we have the personnel for between Derrick Jones Jr., who is a dog in the postseason, big reason why the Mavs got as far as they did, held Paul George to 18 points per game in the postseason against the Clippers, right? Kai Jones, athletic wing. He impressed me. Loads of blocks. Zoo is the most underrated defensive center in basketball. He is the defensive anchor of this team. Terrence Mann held Luca in check in the playoffs. He had him in hell. He's shown year in, year out that he is an elite defender. Chris Dunn, elite defender. He played in Utah last year, so a lot of people don't understand how good of a defensive player he truly is. Nico Batum will pick you up 94 feet. That's what he is. That's what he's always been. An elite 3-and-D guy, and that's it. He knows his role is to play defense and get stops. Now, if we have Norm playing defense the way that he did during the preseason, Jordan Miller's getting minutes. Amir Coffey's a solid defender too. He showed that, and that's in the series against the Mavs as well. We can be a top five defense. And the Jeff Van Gundy pickup. That guy is really changing our defensive mindset. Terrence Mann even said this is the best defensive team he's ever been on. A lot of that, while we do have the personnel to be a great defensive team, I do think a lot of that points to the focus that Jeff Van Gundy has put on defense. Other things, I would say Norm and Terrence both have to take an offensive jump. James Harden, he's going to be more aggressive. He's been a 1A his entire career. So while Kawhi's out right now, I expect him to be more aggressive. I hope it's not the reliance on step backs. I hope it's more floaters. I hope it's more mid ranges. But I trust him. As much as I don't want to say that, as much as I hate to say I trust the guy, I trust him. Right? We know what we're getting out of Zoo. That's a number two option. Zoo, book it, 16 points a game, averaging a double-double this year. Then Norm, we've seen what he does. He does 16, 17 points per game off the bench. If we can get that to 19.5, still shoot about 40% from three, I will take that. And he showed during preseason, he's looking to score off the dribble a little more, get to his mid-range, get to his lays. And even the playmaking looked better during preseason. A lot of driving kicks, a lot of looks on the kicks, not as black hole minded as I'd say. Then I'd say in regards to Terrence, we saw during preseason a more aggressive Terrence. He looked like he wanted to score. That breakout that we've been talking about since he put up 39 in an elimination game forced us to our first ever Western Conference Finals against Utah. It's there. It's coming. 28-year-old Terrence Mann is about to break out. You heard it here. But he was doing a better job of getting to his spots, getting to the mid-range, getting different shots, more aggressive on the catch and shoot. He was looking at the basket when he was catching the ball. This is stuff where obviously it shouldn't have to have been pointed out. But the looking to catch and shoot, especially after last year's stretch to start the year where he could not buy a three and it lost full confidence, his confidence is back. And I am excited for that. Let's talk on Jordan Miller once again. Him playing opens up shots for everyone else. We have Nico Batum, great catch and shoot guy. We have Terrence, who can be a good catch and shoot guy. Norm, Derrick Jones Jr., a bit of a question mark, especially after the finals and in preseason. But I think that he'll figure it out. As long as he shoots 32, 33% from three or higher, I am cool with it. Then, if when Mo Bamba plays, he's that stretch five we've desired. He's going to play a Theis-like role, but shoot a higher percentage from three, be a little bit better defensively. So when he comes back, if he gets minutes over Kai Jones, we have another catch and shoot threat. We have shooters around Uno. We have guys around Uno who, when he drives, when he looks to kick, when he penetrates, they're there. They'll be open. They'll hit open shots for him. And that's something that I think the Clippers can really build on. I put them 11, but I can realistically see Kawhi coming back early, we're a top 6 seed. If Kawhi doesn't come back early, if we can be a top 5 defense, push the pace, and hit open threes, play as one group, which is something I saw during preseason, we will be a play-in team. I just don't like the idea of James Harden being your best player at 35 years old. He's obviously lost his step. He's not the same basketball player. He's a little more pass happy because he knows that his body can't put the same strain he did when he was in Houston, when he first got to Brooklyn. But I'm telling you, if we have our role guys around him play the way that I expect them to play, we will be fine. I want to mention Kobe Brown because he kind of feels like the oddest man out here because I don't see a route for him getting minutes. He looked better in preseason, but the problem with Kobe Brown is I'm a little skeptical of his catch and shoot three. Even though I do think it's there, I think it's a little streaky. And then offensively, he needs the ball to make a difference. Like during during summer league, by having the ball, he was making plays, getting assists, but he's not a shot creator. He's NBA ready, yes, but I don't see a role for him on this team. We have the Suns on Wednesday, Nuggets Saturday, Warriors Sunday. 3 teams that I think, well, 2 teams in the playoffs, 1 team I ranked just outside, who I was very close in the Warriors, putting 6. It's going to be a challenge. Into it on Wednesday. I know we're going to bring the noise. We have Phoenix. I think Phoenix is going to be a lot better. We have the personnel to match up with them. Our defense is going to be good. We throw Harden on Tyus Jones. Terrence Mann guards Book. Derek Jones guards KD. You throw Norm on Brad Beal, and Zoo is an anchor. Their interior defense is not good, so winning that game, we have to penetrate. We have to put pressure on Nurkic and Plumlee to protect the rim. Then Saturday, the Nuggets, already a visit with Russ, but I think that game is more, the Nuggets don't have much depth, but I just don't see how we stop Jokic. Zoo is cool. Zoo's a good defensive player, but Jokic is unstoppable. Then let's go Sunday. We have the Warriors, first back-to-back of the year, 16 back-to-backs this year. I hate it, but what can we do about it? We started our season 2-1, win over Phoenix, lost to Denver, and we beat Golden State. Jins on the year. I'll give you 3 of them. 1, Ivica Zubac, I stated, I'd say 16.8 points a game, 10 boards, 1.5 blocks. He's going to be huge for us this year. Second take, Terrence Mann does take that leap offensively. He is going to get to that 12, 13 points a game. He's going to be more aggressive. He's going to attack the rim more freely. My third and final prediction is that Kevin Porter Jr. is going to start the season off rough, but he will find his footing and average between 10 and 12 points per game off the bench. You know, that first 10 to 15 games is going to be him adjusting back to the NBA play style. He's played basketball, yes, but he hasn't played in the NBA. And the NBA is the highest form of basketball that you can play at. So I think those first 10 to 15 games are going to be him adjusting back to the NBA play style. And then once he finds his footing, he is going to be a dog for us off the bench. So Clipper fans, I'm telling you now, when he inevitably struggles, do not turn on him. Keep giving him support. Keep feeding him support. I'm excited for this season. Record-wise, I think we're going to win at least 42 games. It's just the West is so tough. We'll see what happens. Go Clippers. Can't wait to see the first game at the Intuit Dome. If you're going, please bring some noise. The energy was crazy in the preseason game.
Clippers bring it in. 5 seconds to go. Tie game. Seat belts are fastened. Lou Williams for the win. Bingo!
Oh my goodness.
God, he got it! 1 second left.
two. The three for the tie. Oh!